Hi friends. As you might have guessed from the title or whatever thumbnail I choose, or I don't know, I have some big things to share with you today. But before I get started, I just want to tell you that I'm sharing this out of such a place of peace and joy and excitement for what's ahead and acceptance of what has come. Um, so I'll get into what I'm talking about. Uh, almost 2 weeks ago, I made a decision on a Friday to discontinue my pursuit of a professional career for the time being. Now I'm still dancing. I'm still going to do this channel because I love it. I love sharing. And just because I'm not pursuing another contract, that in no way invalidates my perspective, my thoughts, or anything, any experience I've had that I could share with you. None of that is invalidated by my choice. And I am still a dancer. That's the thing. One huge thing that released me to make this decision is that I can still be a dancer, and I don't have to be a dancer in the same way that many other professional dancers are. I don't have to wait to get someone else's approval to be proud of myself. I don't have to feel like, since I didn't get some paychecks regularly, that I didn't make it. Because gosh dang it, I made it in my own head. Because this is my life, my journey. And if you feel like it's been such a long time striving for big goals in dance, and you have achieved joy and some level of success in your own head, don't let anybody's version of success, which is super subjective, make you feel like your experience is invalid or like the mountains you've climbed to get to where you were just little baby hills. No, because everything is relative, and you and I, each of us individually, are the only ones that are accountable for our own days at the end of our lives. And so anybody trying to tell you that you're not a dancer if XYZ, or you were a failure if this and this, like you didn't achieve those things, like, screw whatever they say. Because honestly, if you achieve something you wanted, even if it is a different version of the thing you originally thought of, you made it. You did something. You developed, you overcame, and you did something you wanted to do because your heart led you there. And that is freaking honorable, okay? So, how did I get to this point? It honestly probably comes as a surprise for so many people, and also in my own life, like the people around me, it surprised them and it surprised me. So to backtrack a little, as many of you know, I went through a series of pretty serious knee injuries over the last year that caused me a lot of pain, and I also got several treatments for that had me out for a couple months. I got PRP injections and a surgery, an arthroscopic surgery. I have videos about both of those things, and that was very hard on me, obviously. But I was still very willing to persevere. I felt like I was not done dancing in the capacity I set out to dance in, at least professionally, that's what I mean. And so I still was going after it, and 2 weeks before the show, I found out, as you know if you follow me on Instagram, that I got to perform in the Nutcracker, and that was just such a gift and a blessing. I had kind of decided that, oh, it's fine if I don't, I still have time. I need time to get back and to heal and all these things, because I did the Nutcracker pretty much at the 3-month mark post-surgery. So that was a kind of a quick turnaround, I think. And I was really proud of that. And it was just such a surprise and such a gift. And I loved it. And it turned out being the closure I didn't think I'd need. So again, and by the way, a lot of the things I'm going to say are out of my mindset as a Christian, my worldview, my beliefs. It's totally okay if you don't believe the same thing as me. Just, I want you to understand where I'm coming from. That's all. And I want to speak truthfully about my experience and my beliefs. So, again, if you don't believe those things, that's fine. Just understand I come from a different place, and that's okay. I had actually grown so close to God over the last year, as I felt like my character, I had like this new depth of character that was developed out of the really hard times I went through. And I felt that in prayer I could really understand what God was trying to do in my life, what he was saying to me. I was much more open to God like actually ministering to me, uplifting me, and giving me strength and just courage to go forward every day. Because honestly, the injury was just taking so much out of me that I would just have to wind myself up every day. And I knew it was taking a lot out of me, but I'm kind of one of those people that I can get so positive, and if I really want to do something, I will put things out of my mind that aren't serving me. And that's a gift, but it also just prevented me from realizing how drained I was and how I wasn't living a full life. Now, that being said, everything I went through leading up to Nutcracker and all that, like, God just orchestrated that in a way that gave me all these answers and all this closure that I didn't think I needed coming up to this decision. And honestly, it also gave me so many things that I could share with you guys that is so wonderful, and so many things that the internet is missing, and that things are missing in real life too. Like, people just don't share with each other enough. They don't share their hard moments, and I find that upsetting, that so many people feel like they have to succeed and they have to look a certain way and do all these things and be happy and whatever, when a lot of it is just so fake, and people need encouragement and they need to be met where they're at. So yeah, I post advice on here, lighthearted things and whatever, but every now and then I'm not afraid to be real with you. And I've been so grateful for the videos I've been able to make, especially following the really hard times I went through. I've been so grateful because of how that allowed me to connect with you. So I don't take anything back. Honestly, over the last year, I'm thankful for every minute of it, even when it was so hard. Because if it weren't for those things, I wouldn't have the perspective I do now. And to me, perspective is everything, because it informs who I am and what actions I will take and what I'll do in the future. It certainly informed my view of God, and it forced me to go a lot deeper in my beliefs and not just take what people say, what they tell me about life and about God and whatever. It's like I'm at the point where I don't really let people tell me what to believe. I really have found a lot for myself. And honestly, without my faith over the last year, I don't think I'd have any peace. And so big shout out to God for helping me through all this and leading to me where I am now. Which, by the way, I'm very happy. So I don't know what all these crocodile tears are for. So, I feel like if I just got into all the details of how I got to this decision, it would be kind of boring. I don't know how relatable it would be, and like, this video would be 100 years long, but I'll try to share what I think is helpful for you guys. To be honest, physically, things were not that great during Nutcracker, and I felt like there were just quite a few days where I would be doing really well, and then the next day I would just be able to do bar, and I felt like I was in so much pain, and I would just be barely scraping by, just enough to do rehearsal that day. So those moments really made me seriously question what was happening, because honestly, I know that all of this was leading to something. Like, I live a life full of meaning, and I believe that things happen since I live my life as best I can according to the life that God meant for me to live. You know, I have grown very deep in my faith, and I feel strongly when God wants me to do something, and I do it, and it just, my life has been very blessed for that, I believe. And it fulfills me very much as a person. And so I just got this feeling that things just weren't adding up in my dance journey to a professional career. And honestly, I wasn't at the place yet where I could really think about that and consider it. So I put it off through Nutcracker because honestly, like, those thoughts weren't helpful to me during the shows. I was going to be completely in it, totally focused, and I was going to enjoy it, and I was committed to that. However, I also made a deal with myself that I would get re-examined after Nutcracker at the start of the break. And if something was seriously wrong in a structural sense in my knee, then I would do what I needed to do to get better. And if I needed to take a break, that's what I needed to do. And I was going to work on myself to have the bravery to make that decision. So that's what I did. I did the last show, went home, and then I got to see a doctor that I really trust. And basically, long story short, everything was not well with my knee. I pushed it too hard, as you can imagine, because I just had big, crazy goals. And basically what I needed to do is I could ignore it for longer and keep dancing, keep doing my thing, but I was really running a high risk of serious re-injury. And it's not like if I ignored it, my dancing would get that much better and life would be easier. I knew I just couldn't keep going on like that. And so the other option was to take another 2 months off or so, just doing light dancing, going through more treatments and get well. And then I felt like, okay, I could refocus, I could re-audition, I could do that. So in the office, I decided that day to get another PRP injection, and I decided that I was going to pursue treatment and I was going to get well, and I could focus on dance after that. This would be my third recovery phase with my knee, and I just kind of felt like, all right, I've done it twice before, I could do it again. Then I ended up enjoying 2 weeks with my family. That was just so great because I was really thankful that it seemed almost like supernaturally I was able to not carry any sort of ballerina guilt at all the whole time. And y'all know what I'm talking about. If you do dance seriously, it's like this constant burden of, if you take your thoughts away from dance or do anything that's against your goals, it's like you're unworthy. You're not doing your best, so you won't be your best. And what are you doing? Like, people won't accept you, blah blah blah. All these thoughts start coming into your head of like all the bad things that will come of like just one night of maybe just eating something you want to eat that's not healthy, or just not thinking about dance, or not exercising that day. Like it's this burden. I'll speak at least for myself. It was like a constant burden of, I need to audition this spring. I need to be doing my best. I was able to just let that go over Christmas break, and that was just such a gift. But then I started to come back to reality, of course, as I knew it was time. I was about to go back to Oklahoma City to start the season again, and I knew I had to make a decision and tell the staff. I needed to decide how I was going to sort this out. And I just kind of felt like I had a big decision to make. So I started to look into auditions, and things just didn't really add up. I just got this feeling that things weren't right, and it's not as possible as I thought. And even if I could like really push myself and achieve that big goal and get another contract, like I just felt like, do I really, really want to live like that again? Put myself through that again? Like, how worth it is it? So I came back to OKC, and for the first time I actually ended up fasting, which is a spiritual practice if you're not familiar. I abstained from food for most of the day, and I just really like sat and I meditated and prayed and like earnestly sought peace about a big decision. And the next day I got it. that day that I fasted, I just felt like whatever happened, I was going to be set free and I was going to be okay. And actually, I started to understand that I got this big feeling welling up in me that I can do big and great things, and big, great, unexpected things are in my future. And God has created me to be so much more than just a dancer. And to continue to pursue dance in this narrow mindset of like, I am not a dancer unless I do it professionally, that would be to deny other possibilities in my life, and it would be a fear-based decision, because I'd be choosing into something I know. Just because I know it, that I wanted to do it. It's familiar to me. And I started to uncover within myself that I was really afraid of the unknown, and facing a new challenge instead of a very hard one that I was familiar with, which was recovering and pushing through physical hurdles to dance. And my answer really came when I decided to dance the next day. And it had been the first time I danced in 2 weeks, and it was amazing. I had so much fun. I enjoyed myself, and I was free, and I was not in pain. However, I had this understanding that if I continued, I would be in pain, and it would almost be to put the chains back on myself of fighting that every day. And I realized that was a very small life to live and to choose into for right now. I'm not saying I'll never dance professionally again, but for right now, I needed to take the expectations off of myself. And what happened is I was dancing, and this like epiphany, this reality, or this realization, it just rested on me as I was dancing, which was so cool. And I realized that I felt so good, and I was having so much fun. And that is the life I could choose to live. I can still dance. I don't have to give it up. I'm not throwing it away. I am not a failure. I am not any less than I was before. I am not. I am worthy of being proud of myself. And I can still dance, and dance the way I want to, and live a life not full of pain and limitations. I could be that way, and I don't have to give up dance. It's not this binary thing. And actually, I want to share with you guys something. One of my friends from college, she has been posting on Instagram throughout the year, and she's been through a lot of things with dance, and she's still a dancer, and she's an incredible one at that. She posts at the end of each of her Instagram posts, ... not just one thing. It's like each post is a piece, she's showing a piece of herself, and she's reminding everyone that we are not just one thing. I am not just a dancer. You're not just a dancer, or whatever you do. We can be done with these labels of, the blank, or the really boring conversations of, what do you do? Oh, okay, that's what you are. We are so much more than that. And I realized if I continued to dance professionally, or to try to, I would be saying all I am is a dancer, and that's the only way I could do it. That's the only way I could be proud of myself and prove myself to other people. Then it's like, wow, I don't have to do that. I'm still a dancer. I could be a good one. I could get well. And I could live an exciting, full life where I use my potential. And I don't have to keep saying no to the other parts of me that are crying out to be used. I don't have to do that anymore. So I'm not. And I want to tell you, if you're going through something similar, you don't have to either. You can also take a break and come back, and that's fine. I look around the room when I'm in class, and I realized a lot of the people who got to the top, most of them have gotten surgery before. A lot of the people in the room have taken a year off. or gone through hard times, or been paid and then did a whole free contract for a year thing and then came back to getting paid just because that's the way circumstances rolled out for them. All of that is okay. All of them are real, normal people. We all go through things like that. And you don't have to be afraid of the way your life is turning out. You can embrace it fully and say that you are still worthy. You don't have to be worried about what other people say about you, what they think about you, or if you're still worthy of respect, because you are. If you're living your life with integrity, that's what matters. If you are still living intentionally with the thought of loving yourself and spreading love, and if you are religious, loving God, that is what matters. For me, God is love. I have experienced that love so radically over the last year, especially as I've gone through my struggles. And from that love, I've been shown I can share that with people. And I was not able to share that best when I was having a hard time in dance, like continuing to choose into having a hard time. So now I speak to you free. It's like I don't have the chains on me anymore, and I'm still a dancer. That's really cool. So there are totally still, like, there's so many people who have shown me such love, and I really appreciate that. But I also really don't care what people think, even if they don't care, or they don't respect what I did. And honestly, there are quite a few people around me that don't. And they give me looks, or straight up just don't make eye contact with me, or don't talk to me. And you know what? I'm sorry for them, that they have such a small view of who they can respect, who they want to associate with. And a lot of them, it's their box, their little world, it's only dance and dancers. That's it. And so since I don't fit neatly into that anymore, I'm kind of dead to them. You know what? I don't freaking care. I'm sad that they have a life view like that. And that is where I'm at. So you can support me, you cannot. But I know this is where I'm supposed to be. I have such peace and excitement for what is to come. And honestly, I'll just tell you, I don't know exactly what it is. I have ideas that I'm really excited about. But I don't have to know right now. And that's what's really cool. I can still accept myself as I am, because I know this is where God meant me to be. And I'm so happy I get to share this with all of you. So I'll still be posting on YouTube. Don't worry about that. I will still be dancing. Right now I'm only doing it a couple times a week as I continue to get better. But I don't even tell myself that I'm recovering anymore. That's the thing, because it doesn't matter. And that's so cool. I'm not limited. I'm not recovering. I mean, technically I am. I just don't have these labels on me anymore because I am not limited. So I've chosen that life, and I can't wait to see how much more I grow, how much more I do. And maybe when I do those other things and live a different life, it'll be time to come back to dance again. But when I come back, it'll only be for all the right reasons, and because that is what I'm meant to do. But in the meantime, I'll be dancing for fun regularly. I'll still post things, hopefully still videos and things like that on my Instagram, because I love it, and I'm still a dancer. But now I'm just continuing to repeat myself, because I like talking to you guys. Yeah, so I'm happy, and I'll be staying where I am for the next couple months. That's the beauty of making this decision in January, when I still have work, like tutoring and teaching and things like that in the evenings. So I'm stable for the next couple months, and then I'll be doing something else. Who knows what? I don't know, but I'm excited about it. So thanks for sharing this time with me. Thank you if you're still watching. Please share if you want to, about things you're going through, if it's similar or whatever. If you relate, I'm here to relate to you, and I really love the community that we have here. So let's be more open with each other. Let's be more honest with ourselves. Let's be more accepting of all that we can be. Being all of who we are and respecting ourselves for wherever we're at, as long as we're doing our best. That's okay. Don't live a small life based off of fear-based decisions. because of what people tell you you need to be proud of yourself. I want to share and just revalidate that you can be proud of yourself where you are right now, no matter what your journey's been with dance or whatever you're passionate about. That journey means something to you, and if you do it from the heart, it means something to other people. So as long as you can share from the heart and your art form is still feeding you, that's as long as you should stay in it. But you don't have to go about it a certain way. You don't have to stay in it if it's not filling your heart. That's okay to take a break. So that's what I'm doing. Thanks for sharing this time with me. Yeah, I've talked for a long time, so I will see you in the next video. Bye.